Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful and blessed day on today. Welcome to Women Transform Sisterhood Bible Study Time. We've been coming on a little early, so if you catch us on replay, hit the replay button. Let me know you catch us on replay. Hit me in the comment section. As always, sharing is caring. Share and let someone to know that we are on. Put your like buttons, comments, all the good stuff. Just do it all and let me know that you are here. Hello, it's Sharice. Hello, thank you for joining. We're going to be talking about a couple of things today. I know we've been doing our series. We've been doing our series of women that God can use, and we've been talking about different women in the Bible. And so, if you have been missing this series, you can catch us at our own YouTube at Women Transform. Pamela Jordan. Hey, Brianna, how you doing? You can catch us on that. You can catch all the episodes that we've been doing talking about women that God can use. It's been an awesome study. And if you guys are enjoying it, we're pulling out different women in the Bible that we usually don't talk about a lot. So I try to pull up women that, besides the ones we hear and talk about all the time, different women that can relate to you and whose stories that relate to you. So if you want to catch that, hey, Rihanna, good to see you. Check out the YouTube channels, Women Transform, Pamela Jordan, and you can get those. And I'm gonna try to keep it going. So if you want more, there's women in the Bible that you want to talk about, let me know. But the Sisterhood Bible Study, we're going to dive into different topics and different things and stuff. So we're not going to be staying on just those type of topics, because today I wanted to touch on a topic that's really kind of been touching me close to my heart. And many of you, it's probably been a conversation that some of you may have had, and it could be very touching for a lot of you out there. And I wanted to talk about something that's been in the papers and the news and been all over. And as two topics we're going to kind of hit on today. The first one is about the abortions, talking about abortion, and the next one is going to be talking about, does porn ruin your relationship? So I wanted, they're touchy topics, especially with the abortion one. It's kind of very touchy. I try not to touch a lot of touchy because a lot of things are opinionated and people's opinions. And my thing is whatever you do is between you and God. I'm not the judge, jury, or the executioner. So, but I wanted to talk about it because it's so important when we're talking about abortions. And I'm one in my story. I've had one when I was a teenager. I had two when I was a teenager. And so it's a very touchy thing to talk about. And for me, it's very important. And my thing is on it, and we know what the laws are and what's been going on. It's like the country has been wasting so much time and so much money on talking about abortions when there's so many other things out here our country could be dealing with, our country could be talking about, we could be spending more money on. But we're going to be talking about a topic in this country that has to do with a person's choice, and it's a woman's choice. And it's amazing how we have in this country dove in this topic so much that it is getting out of hand and is out of control, where there are other laws and other things that are laying on the books that need to be dealt with and need to be handled. Recently I'm doing a research, and I do a lot of volunteer work dealing with domestic violence and rape and stuff like that, and to come across to find out how many rape kits have not even been processed in the hospitals of victims or women that have been raped, who are waiting on these rape kits. They go to the hospital, they've been raped, they're a victim of a violent rape, they go get a rape kit done on them, and the rape kits are handed to the authorities, and no one is processing the rape kit. In other words, no one is processing the rape kits in order to find out who the rapist is. So there is a campaign out there that's going on that a lot of you may not know about, that there are rape kits that are stored in warehouses, stored in police, stored in abandoned buildings that have not even been process. And to understand that, and why I bring that up, because out of those rapes, a woman could have gotten pregnant by their rapist, or this person, and that they don't even know. No one's even out looking for them. And these men are out here continuing to be able to rape and do what they do because no one is out. See, there's more things out there that we can be dealing with than having these crazy conversations on our news and here in the Congress about abortion, which comes to a woman's rights. So if you're someone who has had one, you may understand where I'm coming from. If you know someone that has had one, you may understand where I'm coming from. I'm not here to tell anybody I'm not here to say I'm pro-life, pro this, and pro that, I'm pro Jesus. But for me, and this is, I would say, this is my 2 cents, this is my opinion, because everyone has their opinion. For me, it's your choice. We serve a God that gives us choices. We serve a God that gives us free will. God does not make us do anything. God has us, He gives us this red pill or the blue pill. You make the choice. And whatever choice you make, that's the choice you make. And you deal with what comes with it. And that is what gets me about this. You're making the laws for women and you're not a woman. A lot of those lawmakers are men, and you're sitting in seats making laws for women. You're not a woman. You don't have a woman's body. You don't know what she's going through. You don't know how her hormones are raised. You don't know how she's feeling. You don't know her situation of why she could be at an abortion clinic wanting to get an abortion. We don't know. Everybody has a story. Everybody does not do things because they want to do things. There's a story behind everything. Some people have no choice to do what they do. So we're not the judge. Congress is not the judge. Congress is not the executioner. And Congress, we have people sitting in the seats that are trying to play the role of God. If God gives us choices, I mean, who are you to take away the choice of letting a woman make that decision about her body? And, as I was listening to the news, and I heard one doctor was saying, it's a sad thing because what's going to happen is many women out there who are seeking to have abortions or in these states that can't have an abortion, they're going to go to extreme measures to have an abortion. And like he said, to extreme measures where some of them may end up killing themselves or taking their own lives because you don't know why or what the situation is. If you were going through incest, if your dad is abusing you and raping you and you get pregnant by your dad and you're telling this person that you're in a state where you can't have an abortion, now you got to carry a baby that you've had from your father because he constantly raped you, or your brother, or a man, or you've been kidnapped or whatever, and that you have to birth a child of someone that was forced on you. That's a hard thing because out of everything there's consequences, and that is the big kind of my biggest concern. And it could be many of you out there, is the consequences that comes behind this. Because the fact is, if you don't allow them to have the abortions, now what happens? They get in the system. Now the system is taking care of a child. Now, the person may abandon the child. Now they have to find a foster care. Now, it's a process. It's a lot of what coulda, shoulda, wouldas that can happen in situations where that you're forcing someone to keep something that in their mind and their choice that they don't want. And now you have to look at all the things that come with it. There's more to come with this thing than just saying, well, we don't want you to have abortions after so many weeks. I understand that. We don't want you to, this is life and shouldn't be killing life. Well, you know what? We got to think about that too. When you're out here shooting people, the police are out here, shooting our black men, and it's the same thing. They grown, but you're killing. So people want to throw those scriptures out, thou shalt not kill, and all this stuff where we doing it every day in this country. Someone is getting killed every day. So, if you're going to make laws like this, you need to make laws for that. Those are important too. So it is, for me, it's hard to say, and I just want to encourage someone out there, because there may be a woman out there who's listening, who's sitting there contemplating what to do. You got women out there who have been taken, women trafficking, and then on top of that, you have people when they do and they have these babies and they may give them up for adoption. They may fall in the hands to crooked adoption agencies. They may fall in the hands of agencies that want to sell children overseas for money. So now you got all this human trafficking going on and all this selling of babies going on of the country, because these are babies that they were forced to have. Now they don't want them. No one has them. She's a crackhead. She's selling her body for crack. She gets pregnant, but you won't let her have an abortion. So now she's having this baby in a hospital where she can't take it anywhere because she's a crackhead and she's living in an abandoned building. She can't even take care of herself. And you want to put a baby in someone like that hand, and we'll say, oh, is it an exception to the rule? A lot of these states, there's no exception to the rule. They're going all out with it is what it is. Abortion, no abortion, no abortion. Well, now you've given a baby to a crackhead. What do you think that crackhead is going to do with that baby when that baby turns 5 or 6 or 7? Well, if they make it to that age, because they're not able to take care of it because they're on crack. They're beginning to sell the baby. Then now you have a child that's being raised who is being used as a prostitute or being used for drugs, that mom is trading a child for drugs. So the child has to go have sex with an old man in order for the mama to get high and use drugs. It's more to what we see behind why the situation when it comes to abortion is so sticky. So, I just ask, we got to really begin to pray, y'all. We got to really begin to seek God in this day and time, because they're taking away a law that was meant for people to have a choice, to give women a choice. And let's be honest, it's really the woman. I understand you're married and you're your husband and he has a decision too. Yes, he has a decision too. But it all comes down to he's not carrying a baby for 9 months. He's not feeding that baby for 9 months. He doesn't have to go through the labor pains for 9 months. He doesn't have to go through the labor for 9 months. He doesn't have to go through all the medication, the swollen feet, the everything, your body changing, everything, and everything. Just all those of you who had children, the process that we go through when you're carrying a kid. And men don't know that because what they're not carrying. Yes, you are there when she's going through it, but you're not her. You don't know what is happening inside of the body and what is going on. So to take that choice away from women, it's not a good thing. And we have to really think about it. It's a person's choice. Give them a choice. So, I wanted to come on and talk about that and shit because it's really been in my spirit. Like I said, I have two when I was a teenager, and I made that decision to have them, have abortions, because at that point in time in my life, I wasn't ready to take care of the kids. I'm a teenager. I'm out there trying to have a good time and enjoy it. Why was I going to bring a child into a world that I couldn't take care of? And then they become part of a system. And then the system has to take care of them. And then the system, money is going, taxpayers' money to take care of a child that I knew I couldn't take care of. So I had to make that choice. Now, a lot of people say, well, when you gave your life to Christ, what happened? How'd you feel? At a point in time, there are times that you go through the guilt. There are times that some women go through depression after they have abortion. There's a lot of things that we go through after making that decision. But one thing I do know, we serve a true and living, loving God, that God loves us no matter what decisions we make and no matter what we do, and the heartache and pain. And when you give your life to God, and when you serve a good God, he will ease those pains and he will forgive you, because he forgives us for all the crazy stuff that we do. So why wouldn't he forgive you for that? So if anybody's out there telling you God won't forgive you if you have an abortion, that's a lie, because we serve a God of forgiveness, and he forgives you. He knows why you made the decision of that you made. He's not going to condemn you. He's not going to beat you down. As the scripture says, when the men found the woman in the act of adultery, and they brought her to Jesus and threw her at his feet, and they told Jesus that they caught her in adultery, and Jesus asked, well, she picked up the stone. They thought he was going to stone her, but he picked up the stone and looked at all of them and said, well, who should cast the first stone? Did any of them cast the first stone? No. You can't cast the first stone because you're just as guilty as she is, because half of you out here, men, you probably was the ones that slept with her too. And then on top of that, you didn't even bring the man that she was in adultery with, because if she was in adultery with the man, that means he was married and she was sleeping with a married man. But where is he at? No one brought him to the feet of Jesus. So that's why Jesus stepped back and said, who should cast the first stone? So the same thing when it comes to these the laws, when it deals with abortion, people really have to begin to look at yourself. Who should cast the first stone? We are not Christ. We are not God. And it's not your decision to make. So for you to point fingers at someone and say she couldn't, she shouldn't, or this or that, you are not God. Who shall cast the first stone? None of us are not without sin. We all have sinned and we all have fallen short. But we know a God that loves us and forgives us no matter what we've done. God loves and still forgives us. When you're sincere with it and you're in repentance with it and you give your life to God from the heart and from the depths of your soul, God forgives you no matter what. If he can forgive the drug addict and he can forgive the alcoholic and he can forgive the murderer, he can forgive a woman that have an abortion. It is no different. So we have to be careful, pointing fingers, making decisions, and all this stuff. It is a trendy topic. It is a hot topic. I don't know where it's going to go with this country. Every state is voting on it. There's been back and forths of the laws in some states are saying, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to keep our laws as it is. Some states saying we may ban abortions all. Nobody can have abortion. And it's crazy because my thing is this: each and every one of you sitting in those seats in the House, in the Senate, and on Congress. What happens if someone breaks into your home and rape your wife and she's pregnant by that person? What happens if your daughter get a boyfriend and someone you don't like and she gets pregnant at an early age? What happens when that happens? When it falls at your feet, who's going to make that choice? But you set a law that says, okay, now your wife is going to be pregnant with a man that came in your house and raped her. Now you got to look at this baby of someone else's, and don't let it be a baby of a different race. That's a whole nother ball game. Now you got to look and raise a kid that your wife was raped by. See, a lot of times we make decisions, but we don't really look at the whole picture. A lot of stuff is good on paper, but when you get out here and you talk to women who have been through this thing and have done it, then you begin to understand the story of why. There are some women out there who won't do it and keep their, and that's wonderful because everybody has a choice. That is your choice. That is her choice. That is her choice. That is her choice. So I just wanted to kind of bring that out and talk about a little bit. And if you have any comments about it, put it in the comment section because everybody has their comments and everybody has an opinion. My opinion is my opinion. It's not Rolling Stone. But what I do know is that we serve a God that loves us no matter what decision we make. Good or bad, he still loves you. He still cares about you. He's still listening to you. He has not forgotten about you. He does not hate you because you made a decision. That's the type of God that I serve. The God that I serve, no matter what I've done, he still cares and still loves about me. And that is so important. Hey, Vendor. The other thing I wanted to talk about is there was something I was watching. I love Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith. And they did an episode and talking about does porn ruin relationships? And I was like, oh my God, that is an awesome topic. So if you want to catch my full discussion on it, you can catch it on my podcast, Women Transform. Single Women Transform podcast, or let me know, hit me in the comment section. I'll let you know where to go to get it. But does porn ruin relationships? That is a question. And to be honest with you guys, porn, and to be real, and we always try to be transparent here, is that porn is just not in the world, guys. It's going on in the body of Christ also. It's something that is not being talked about. But is it ruin relationships? I think so. My opinion, I believe it is. You will be surprised over 40 million people watch porn. And it's come from back in the day when somebody's had the magazines and they begin the magazines and you catch they hide magazines on the beds and on the mattresses and stuff. It has come from that to internet. And internet porn is off the chain. The rates of how much people watch it is ridiculous. And it's dangerous. So porn addicts spend at least 11 to 12 hours per week on the internet watching porn. That's not good. And it does affect relationships. If you're someone in a relationship and you are not someone that likes porn, that other person likes porn, and you may be forced to watch it, or, and you don't want to watch it, it affects everybody differently. And it it is more of the act of what you have to do to get to the height of climax, masturbation, whatever you want to call it. And it is something that is, it's just a topic that hasn't been addressed. And we've heard the story of Kirk Franklin when he came out on Oprah and he shared his story about being addicted to porn. And as he said it, it started off when he was very young, of friends, and their brother had the magazines and they looked at the magazines out of curiosity, as kids is, joking and laughing. But for him it became an addiction, and for him it became a companion. Porn became a companion. That is powerful if you think about it, that it had, he got addicted that bad that it became a companion to him. And he talked about, when he was a teenager and how he began to get serious about God, and trying to serve God and do what he needs with God. And he goes and shares with his pastor that, you know what, man, I have a problem. I have a problem with porn. I need help. And what was amazing to me, when he said that, hey, Shaheem, and when he told him that, is the fact that the man told him, you will outgrow it. Now, if someone's, and I'm gonna let y'all know, hear this, if someone is coming to you about a problem such as that, do not tell them they're going to grow out of it. If you can't help them, find somebody who can. Because, like Kurt Franklin said in his interview, what happened is it grew. He didn't never grow out of it. He thought getting married, it would change. Even being married, it didn't change it at all because he was addicted. It becomes an addiction. And it was affecting his marriage, and to a point where he felt like, a lot of men say the same thing. They felt like they were cheating on their wives. And a lot of men say that, and people may say, well, how's that? It's because if you're sitting here watching another woman having sex, for some men it feels like they're cheating on their wives because they're not having sex with her. They're watching something else. And the place that you have to go, you have to take yourself. It becomes a place where you're separating yourself from your spouse, from your girlfriend, to go in a place where it's just you and yourself. That makes you become self-centered. You have to put yourself in a state in your mind at a place of focus on something in order to be able to reach your climax. And it affects a lot of women, because a lot of women, we don't say anything to the point of telling them, well, you begin to feel low self-esteem, because now most women start to think, well, maybe I can't satisfy him. I'm not doing something right. It's not happening with us. I love him, but it seems like sexually I can't satisfy him. And to be honest with you, it has nothing to do with you. It's the fact that he has gotten so addicted to watching pornography, is that when you're in the intimate relationship with him, he cannot focus on you. He has to focus on that in order to get aroused. That is not good. So you have a beautiful woman beside you that God has blessed you with, and she's there to do what you're supposed to do, but you can't get aroused because you're so used to watching someone else. So you can't tell me it doesn't ruin relationships. It ruins relationships because when your person gets to that point of addiction, they begin to cheat. Many men will tell you, those who have gotten so addicted to porn, and some of them don't even realize they're addicted to porn, is if that's where they start to cheat at. Because what happens is, if my spouse or my girlfriend can't perform the way they perform in those movies, and it becomes an expectation. See, we don't want to talk about this stuff when it comes to the body of Christ. We don't want to talk about it, period, because it's dangerous, because the expectations come in. Now you're looking at your girlfriend, or you're looking at women with the expectation that they're going to perform the way those professionals perform in those porn movies that you sit and watch. So you meet someone that you really like and really care about, but when it comes to the sexual activities, your expectations of her is off crazy, because she's not the person in the video and you want her to be the person in the video, and now you get upset because she can't perform the way you want because of your expectations. Well, she's not the person in the video, and then so now she can't perform, so what do? Then they go out and begin to cheat, and now it becomes, you're starting destructive in your marriage, and your relationship becomes destructive because now you're out cheating on the woman that you love because you've gotten so addicted to the pornography that you don't know how to control it or what to do. So it's a topic that really, really, really needs to be talked about and needs to be addressed. Many men get into pornography, and it's not just men. I want to just say it's men because women are the same way. Women can get into pornography just as much as men, and then it's coming to the point where people will say, "Well, is it, well, we watch it together. Is that okay?" Well, you have to ask yourself that question: is that okay? Because it gets to a point of there's an expectation of performance, and what happens when neither one of you can perform the way the expectation is? You're bringing into something within your spirit. Now, if you need to learn how to do some different things, then that's a different, that's a whole nother broadcast. But we have to be very, very careful with it. A lot of men, they'll tell you, they begin to lie to their wives. Like I said, they start to have affairs. There's destruction in the marriage, and it just doesn't affect the husband and wife. If they got children involved, it begins to affect the children. You may say, how does it affect the children? Well, he begins to spend less time with the kids because he's spending more time on the internet looking at pornography when he should be spending time with the children and doing things for the kids. So it begins to take them away because it becomes an addiction. It's just like addiction of a drug addict. The difference between a drug addict and someone that's addicted to sex is the fact that a drug addict is addicted to drugs and a sex addict is addicted to themselves. And most of the time it goes deeper than that. Most of the time it's just not about sex. It's a deeper underlying issue that is going on that's causing him to do the things that he does. But in order to deal deeper in those issues, that's when you really got to begin to turn over to God. And that is one thing I do know. That if you want to get delivered, and just like Correct said, you want to get delivered, you want to get set free, you're tired of this addiction, when you begin to seek God and ask God for help, God will help you. You come with him with a repentant spirit and a true heart, he will help you get over. And he talked about, in his interview with Oprah, how, he finally had to tell his wife after the fact that he got up in the middle of the night, he took all his porn magazines, drove miles and miles away from his house and dumped them. Get back home in the bed, sleep. And this is when he realized he had an addiction. He couldn't sleep. He got up in his shorts, bedroom slippers, t-shirt on, drove all the way back to where he dropped and dumped all those magazines, climbed in, got all those magazines out, and came back home. That's when he realized the fact that he had an addiction. And he had to really open up and tell his wife what was going on. And as she loved him as much as she loved, she helped him to get help and get therapy and get help to find out where it's coming from. And that's okay if you need to go get therapy and you need to go get help. But get a support system. Get people around you that is going to support you and that's going to lift you up. Sometimes the ones that are closer to you may not be the best support because they're so involved in it, because many women don't like porn. And those who do, get some help. Get some therapy, because you may say, well, I'm not addicted to it, I don't watch it all the time. Well, you got to look at the fact that when you watch it, why are you watching it? Are you watching it for you to reach a climax? Or, what is the reason why you are watching it? So it is a choice. It goes back to choice, guys. Everything is a choice. We have to make choices. But we have to remember, every choice we make, there is a consequence out of the choices. So you have to make that decision to say, ask that question, is porn ruining my relationship? If the person that I'm with, if she doesn't like watching it, why am I watching it? Why am I offending her with something that she may not like to watch? Why am I forcing her to watch something with me? Making it seem like, well, it'll be okay if we watch it together, knowing she doesn't want to watch it at all. It becomes a respect map. Do you respect her? Do you respect her wishes? Do you respect what she desires? So it's something, it comes down to communication. Communication is always the key when it comes to relationships. If we sit and communicate with each other from the beginning, we let people know, this is something I do, this is something I like. Do you mind? Is it offensive to you? And do you guys have to communicate and make an even ground and meet? So I'm not here to tell you nay, say, yeah, whatever. But my opinion, I think pornography can ruin a relationship. It really can, because of the act and what goes on behind it and everything. So I just want to come on and share those two little chit chat topics, conversation with you guys, and just have a little chit chat with you guys because it's some of the topics that are out there and people are talking about. And just want to kind of throw them out there. And you guys can always put your comments in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about the topics and what your opinion is. And it'd be wonderful. I love the feedback so we can keep talking and keep things rolling. So I thank each and every one of you who come on and watch today. I hope you guys are blessed. We will get back into our Sisterhood Bible study. I think we have one more woman to talk about. So we will get back to that for those of you who are waiting on that. And after that, we'll move on to something else. So I thank you all for joining me. Love you all. Until next time. Bye-bye.